Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of MMA DFS for Beginners. This is your host, Jesse, and tomorrow we have a fight night. Cannoneer versus Sean Strickland. Kind of a wacky fight card, not the best. Um, Not the best for DFS either, but there's ways to attack this card that I'm going to talk about soon. But first things first, road to 500. Y'all know, setting the goal to $500, starting off with 100. Once I reach that goal, who knows how long that's gonna take? All that money goes to one lucky subscriber. So remember, if you subscribe to my channel and I reach that 500 bucks, I'm gonna do like a lotto type of thing going on. So if I only have like 5 subscribers, you have a really good chance to win. You know, and that's very possible, right? If I hit one or two of these GPP tournaments and I hit it soon, what do I have, like 4 subscribers right now? You have a 25% chance of winning 500 bucks. So that is positive EV if you ask me. So recapping last week, I should have that bring that up, by the way. BTW, my contest last week actually lost. No, I won. Well, I didn't even record it. I did lose. I know I came up empty on all of them. Let's see, last 7 days. Okay. So excluding the Rainmaker, I cashed on those. But my GPPs, what date was that? The 11th? The 11th. So 12, I did not record it yet. 22, no bueno. So started with 93. So I entered the guillotine. Was that a $2 buy-in? I believe. Come on, Jesse. You gotta have this already done. What was it? A $2 buy-in? Give me the details. $2 entry fee. So I did the guillotine and I did the clinch, the single entry. I believe this was the $1. Alright, this was the $1. Yes. No, $5. What? Okay, so how much did I risk? So history. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I risked $13, which is a little, that's a little too much. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 plus 5. Yeah, that's 13. I should have not done that. It's a bit too much. So now I'm down to 80. Finished with 80, lost 13 bucks. That's almost a 14% a hit. I should not. I mean, learning lesson there, right? Don't. I try to take stay. I try to take. Try to take. Hold on, let me take a drink. I try to stay within like 10% if I'm playing GPPs of my bankroll. My bankroll's 93, so I should have been playing like anywhere between 9 to 10 bucks. I know it's not a big deal. You're like, oh, hey, dude, like, come on, $13, not a big deal. But when you extrapolate this and you're playing with thousands, like, it's the principle. It's the principle that counts. It's not the actual dollar amount. It's the principle. This is what we're learning here: is the principles of playing DFS, and bankroll management is a very important principle. In cases like this, where you're risking 13% of your bankroll in a high risk play, which is GPP, and you lose it all, like it happened to me, you take a pretty big hit. Losing 13% in one night is a pretty big hit, if I don't say so myself. I mean, at least I won the Rainmakers. We got tickets for. I don't even want to get into this, but I won that, so I was happy for that. But my GPPs did not do well, so let's see my highest place, and it was kind of weird because, I mean, I'll talk about it shortly for those that are interested in this. I can't believe this didn't cash. Because, yeah, I had 2 losers, right? Mitchell. That was the problem with my lineups, is I was really heavy on Mitchell. Um, And in this case, I had Rosas, Shabazian, Corantillo, and Brown, which three of them scored over 100, and Shabazian scoring 94. Like, I don't know how this did not at least min cash. That's what I'm thinking. What was the min cash was at 30th place. So I needed 514, and this dude had two losers as well. But his two losers were high scorers at 25 and 58 with Corden and Moreno, whereas my two losers, they weren't too great. Mitchell and Blackwood, 24 and 26. Um, I don't know what to say about this. I went heavy on TJ Brown, which went well, and I faded the main event, which went, I mean, as I said, I mean, obviously in this case I did it. I mean, originally I faded the main event. My original lineup, I did make adjustments. I did some late swaps to try to min cash, which didn't was not successful. So part of this min cash was I went to the underdog of the main event. What killed me was going heavy on Mitchell. So okay, this is lesson number two. Lesson number one here is bankroll management. Make sure you stay within your rules of bankroll management. Dad loves beer. That's funny. This guy. Make sure you stay within your bankroll management rules. And number two, don't be biased towards fighters you like. Like Mitchell, I really like Mitchell, and I went heavy on Mitchell, and it bit me in the ass because he lost. Not only did he lose, but he only scored 24 points. And actually, I should take that into account with this fight card because I really like Arman Sarukian. I really like that fighter, and my plan, like it's hard for me to stick to my plan because part of my plan is owning Ismagulov. Just looking at the numbers, just looking purely at the numbers. Part of my plan is owning Ismagulov. So I fell in love. I was a little biased, so that sucks. Make a mental note. Don't go for your favorite fighter. I mean, I wouldn't say Mitch is my favorite fighter, but definitely one of my top fighters. I do like the way he fights. I think he's very well rounded, and I love his jiu-jitsu. I'm a sucker for jiu-jitsu, specifically 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. And he's just a fun character with all his conspiracies and flat earth and politics and all that shit. I got hypnotized by that, so no more, none of that. Back to just gonna be straight business numbers, which is the downside. I did mention this in a previous episode that the downside of DFS for MMA is like sometimes there's a what's that word? There's a conflict of interest. Like your favorite fighter is not the best choice for the slate to pick for DFS, so that's the only downside. But other than that, it was very fun game to play. So that's it for my road to 500. We'll get back. We'll recover. Maybe I need to inject a little bit of juice back into this. Been thinking of adding a little bit of money into it just to make things more exciting, but haven't really finalized that yet. I was looking at FanDuel. FanDuel's it seems like a whole different game. FanDuel with their pricing, and I was looking at their structure of the tournaments and head to head. It's hard. I mean, not head to head with cash games. It's hard to get cash games on there. The tournaments is really only low, small field tournaments. So maybe one day we'll head to FanDuel. For right now, I'm sticking to DraftKings, and let me. She already forgot the tournament I'm gonna play for a cash game. This tournament, I'm gonna start playing this. It's a $4 3-entry max. I'm only gonna play 3 or maybe 2 lineups. I'm gonna go quality over quantity here. Yeah, this low. I'm looking at low. Small field 594, less than 1,000. I'm looking for less than 1,000 field GPP. I want to control with late swap. I feel like it's inspecting your lineups is more important. Like being able to having more control over your lineups is more important. So I'm looking at from now on. I'm looking at only entering like 3 to 5 lineups. anything more than 5 lineups, I feel like is a little too much to start managing. So 3 to 5 lineups I'm managing, and the original lineups are more like skeleton lineups, and then because a lot of times they shift and change and morph into other things. So all right, let's get into it. It's fucking talking way too much, and we're not getting into the meat the meat of what we're all here for is to learn of how to attack this card, this upcoming card, this Strickland and what's the other fool's name, Cannoneer. So the way I'm attack this card is I'm looking for like um, would I call it inefficiencies? Um, I don't know what I would call the way I'm attacking this, but this is what's rolling through my mind. Just to explain to you guys a little bit of all this wildness on this cheat sheet I have is the shaded and then shaded names, non-shaded, shaded names, non-shaded names, shaded names. Um, these are tiers according to their win odds. So tier one is a mirror. He stands all alone at tier one. He's like the LeBron James of this. He's at 82%, and after that, there's a big drop off with Michael, Sergey, Jake, and Cape. There's about a 10% drop off, and they're all about in the same tier at 73, 76, 75, and 71. And then there's a big drop off from 71 to 65 with Cheyenne buys. And then this tier is all about the same from 65, 66, 63, 60, and 52. And then there's another, oh, I'm sorry, it continues all the way to Renell, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name, 60%. And then there's a drop off. I feel like Syed and Kakramanov is in the tier of their own at 50 and 53. And then another tier of win percentage. This is all win equity here. Looking at all this at win equity. These, if they're all in one tier, they're all pretty much the same, I would say. And then Costa by himself at 22%. And then the lines, I broke the card into pricing. This line, I would say was first tier of how expensive they are. So we have 26 fights, and I broke up into 5 tiers, 5, 10, 15, 20, and then I put 6 here. So just to because the pricing does matter, because obviously the higher the price, the more they have to score to be optimal, right? If somebody scores here, if somebody wins here, right, in this last tier, they pretty much just have to win, right? And there'll be a good chance of them being optimal because that frees up. I mean, it would I'm like I'm like choking. It would I would say if they win, chances are they would be optimal down here. It would depend on how the fight plays out. But if you get a fighter down here that wins and you have them, that opens up so much salary to pick fighters like up here, and the chances of fighters scoring higher up here are a lot better. So I tiered up the pricing. So these tiers, this tier I have at 120. I feel like they should be scoring out here, and then 110. And these are all just very blunt estimates of where they should be at, just to give you an estimate. I'd imagine as time goes on and we get a feel for this, we don't have to really refer to these numbers here. But I just want to give like a blunt estimate of where these fighters should be scoring. And I do have their like last 3 wins where they scored to see if they can like reach that, if it's realistic that they can reach that point. Looking at the inside the distance odds, their takedown, how they performed in the last 3 wins. It's just things to take into consideration and start creating lineups. I'm starting to go away from the fantasy cruncher and just crunching like 20 lineups and just being more like creative with my lineup, if that's the right word to say. And then I want to say skeleton lineups, and then adjusting from there, adjusting on the fly, I would say. So okay, again, talking way too much. Let's get into this strategy I'm looking at to do here. So number one, I'm locking in Jerry Cannonier. I know you're like, dude, Jesse, you're fucking crazy. He's predicted to be more than 40% owned, and you're playing a GPP. First of all, it's a small field GPP. It's 594, around 600 players, so you don't have to be concerned too much about being duplicated, right? Again, remember, guys, you want to be different because you don't want to your you don't want your lineups to be duplicated and have to share your jackpot. So let me explain later. I don't mind too much about picking him up here because we're gonna get way different. Otherwise, we're gonna take some shots. We're gonna take some shots at some very low owned fighters. I really want Cannonier because I just think he's too hard to pass up because of the position he's at. Number one, he's the main event. Number two, he is basically he's technically the favorite. I mean, it's pretty much a toss up. He's at 52.8, Strickland's at a 52.4, so it's a 50% chance. And he's priced at one, two, three fights below the underdog. Usually, when it's a toss up, like the Nurmagomedov and Kakramanov, they're priced accordingly, right at the middle. But he's not priced below that. He's priced two below that. He has that knockout power, as we all know. His inside the distance percentage is pretty decent at 235. Not the best, but it's all right. It's just very hard to pass him up. It's very hard to pass him up at this position. And also the fact that he's the last fight on the card. You can, if fights aren't going your way, you can adjust accordingly to this. Because you do have time because he is the last man event. He's just way too valuable for those reasons to not pass up. So I'm gonna keep him. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Looking at the card entirely, this is the reason why I tiered all this. I'll go back to the Cannoneer. Well, I'm done with the Cannoneer thing, but the way I'm gonna attack this is it's top heavy. This card is top heavy with Cape all the way to Albazi being like the heavy favorites. And then below that, there's not even a 2-1 favorite with Cheyenne Buys, which is a women's strawweight, which tends to be more volatile. And then Sarukian at 66%. He's not even at 200 yet. Like from McKenna on up to Kakramanov, these underdogs are very much alive, especially Kakramanov and Cannoneer. They're actually technically favorites, and then Mahasheti at 45%. Like all these guys at 40%, high 30s. That's almost basically a toss up. It's a 50% chance that these guys are gonna win. So the way I'm gonna attack this card is going after these guys here, taking my shots here. I'm locking in Cannoneer. Watch out, I'm rhyming. Locking up Cannoneer and taking shots here. Maybe Cannoneer, another fighter. And then picking up right here. So I'm fading a lot of these fighters here. These fighters. The way I'm constructing my lineup, I'm picking one out of them. One, so I'll pick one. But I'm not building lineups that are largely based off of these guys right here. Which, as we saw last main event, I feel like this range, like 9,000 to the middle to like 8,200, maybe like 9,000 to 8,500. There's a lot of fights here that hit the optimal. Like last week we saw, if I'm not mistaken, we saw Duplessis in there. We saw Rosenstrew. We saw Billy Qualentillo, and all those, they scored pretty high and they were in this range. But it's a different fight card. The odds are different here. I'm a fade these guys here. I'm probably play one in my lineups from that range. Okay, so going back to the Cannoneer, the strategy, locking in Cannoneer, I think he's just way too valuable. Locking in Amir, I think at that level, at this win odds and the inside the distance odds at -160. I think it's just too good to pass up. So locking up that green, that makes it two. So I'm locking up those two guys, and then I'm taking shots at. Who are the guys I'm taking shots at? I'm taking shots at Ismagulov and Caceres. Ismagulov and Caceres. Those are the two guys I'm taking. I was playing it. I was thinking of taking a shot at Brundage. I might when I make my lineups. I might end up taking a shot at him. But these two guys, for a couple of reasons, Ismagulov. First of all, I like their win odds. We have 38 and 41%. And I say taking a shot because they're low owned. Caceres at 18% and Ismagulov at 14%. This is where I'm gonna get different here. This is the reason that this is why I'm allowed to go for Cannoneer because I'm gonna pick these low owned fighters here. That's one reason they're low owned. That's actually the number one reason. Low owned, their fights are later in the card, so I'm gonna construct my fights around these two. And if it's not going to my, if it's not like if a fighter loses, um, before these two fights happen, well, first of all, I'm not playing both of them in the same lineup. I'm building two lineups. My third lineup will actually probably be Brundage with the as my shot. Um, so say I build my lineup with so this is an example. Well, the reasons why this is a big reason is it's later in the card. I'm able to change my lineups because this is where I'm picking my leverage points, and if it doesn't go according to plan, if a fighter loses beforehand in my lineup, I'm able to move away from him. There's no point of using this leverage if one of my fighters loses. Now I'm just going for mint cash. I'm just trying to cash out my. I'm just trying to salvage my lineup. So I'll move away from them. May move away from Amir to free up some salary and just go for some win equity somewhere around here. So um, that's another reason why I like these two because they're later in the fight card at 2 and 4. Um, and at they're inside the distance. I like Caceres' 400. Not really Ismagulov, but Caceres' 400. I really like that compared to other fighters in this range. We are 600, 700. I mean, Cannoneer, I'm liking him. I was making up lineups, and I'm also liking up Mahashete. I'm locking that guy up. Speaking of, let's go through a lineup that I'm thinking of on the top of my head. So, say we're gonna build one based off of Ismagulov. So we'll go down to Ismagulov. Where is he? Where is he? Cannoneer. I said we're gonna lock up. Amir. Okay. So those are the three that I'm basically locking up. I mean, Cannoneer and Albazi I'm locking up, and then Ismagulov next lineup is gonna be Caceres. And then, like I said, I want a range here. So Cape, Manuel Cape, Mano Cape. I'm over if I can acting like he's Spanish. Manuel Cape, right there, boom. So it leaves us with 8,150, and I want to take another shot in here. 8,150. We're like in this range here. So I'm gonna go Mahashati or Mahashati, some shit like that. So I'm going here. I like him because he is high owned. Again, our leverage is gonna be here at Megalov, so we don't have to even trip about ownership. If this was a large field GPP, then yeah, I might start tripping of owning guys like Cannoneer and Machete. But since it's a small field GPP and there's not gonna be as many lineups to compete with, we can get away with things sort of like this as long as you're getting fighters that are really low owned like Caceres and Ismagulov. So Machete, I like him. Ignore the ownership. I like him because his win equity, he's at 45%, which is pretty good compared to. I mean, it's pretty much in line with his group right here. His inside distance is great at 225, and he's early. So my dog on this fight. Well, let me complete the lineup. So I'm going Machete, and it leaves me at 8,500. Ali made 8,500. So we have Strickland, Rafa. I like this. I can't even that man. Fakir Damn. Renat. We're gonna call him Renat. I'm gonna go to him number one because it leaves flexibility with the. I like to leave, especially with late swap. I like to leave at least $200 on the table, um, because it gives me flexibility to change my lineups. It gives me some flexibility on that, and of course, it allows you to be more different because people tend to use all of their salary. You have a big temptation to use all of your salary. So Renat, oh my phone is going bananas. All right. So Renat, I'm going with him because, and also he's early in the fight card at 12. So what is the third 14 fight? I know one fell out. How many fights do we have? We have 14 fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 now since the win and Julian fight fell out. So 13. So Renat is the second fight on the fight card. I did the way harder way to figure that out. Actually, Renat's the third fight. All right, Renat's the third fight. So this is gonna be my underdog. One underdog here. I would not consider Jared the underdog. Um, Manahashi is the fight, like the pivot point. He's like, okay, let me give you guys a big picture of what's going on here. Where is he? Cape is supposed to win. He's the second fight on the card, right? He's supposed to win. If he doesn't win, yeah, we'll plan around that. But he's supposed to win. Amir's supposed to win. Renat is supposed to win, right? Renat, I want to say he's supposed to win because he's not that big of a favorite, but he's early on, so it's gonna revolve around Renat and Mahashati winning. This is gonna be the pivotal point. This is gonna make me determine if am I gonna change my lineup or not, and I like it because they're early on the fight cards. So I have Cape, first guy on deck. He's my lock to win. And then I'm having Renat and Mahashati up. And it's gonna depend on these two, whether they win or not. If whether I'm gonna change my lineup. Because after that, Renat, yeah, because Amir, come on, if he loses, it's gonna be a very big upset. And then Kanir's the last fight, but this is all leading up to the Ismagulov. This is the leverage point here is the Ismagulov. So these two fights is gonna determine whether I'm gonna switch. If they both win, I'm keeping them the same, and we're set. We are set to now. It's all eyes on this fight here. It'll be all eyes on this, and then if Ismagulov wins, and then Kanir wins, we're in very good position, very very good position. But if these two lose, I mean, if one of them or if both of them lose, fuck, we're fucked. But if one of them loses, we're gonna switch our lineup to reflect that, because we also all of a sudden we don't need this Ismagulov to win. So say Cape wins, I have a plan if he loses, but we're hoping he wins. That's one of our guys we're paying up for. If he loses, we're fucked because we paid up for him. But we will salvage something. I don't want to go over the plan if he loses because the chances are he won't lose. But say he wins, and then what's the next fight? What's our next fight? It's Renat. If once the Renat fight starts, I have a feeling the Mahashati fight is gonna be locked. So this is basically uh, it's rigid here. I would say we're not gonna be able to change. This is basically we're hoping these two fighters win. But say one loses, say Renat loses. If they both lose, we're pretty much fuck because we're not gonna be able to change it because they're gonna get locked. So say Mahashati loses and Renat wins, right? We're always hoping one wins, which is a good possibility. So these three are gonna be locked, and we're like, fuck. Well, now one fighter, we have one loss. We're not playing for first place anymore. We're just trying to mid cash. We're trying to cash out, trying to salvage this lineup. So I would keep Cannoneer just for the value, but I would um, get a salary back by getting Al-Bazi. Because if we just go, all right, I'm just gonna switch Al-Baghazi, not Al-Baghazi, what's it? Imaganov, is Magalov. We can only just afford Caceres, which is still an underdog. So we'll move away from Amir. We're trying to look for two winners. Two winners. We're trying to look for more of a balanced lineup here, more of a floor, higher floor. So we could go 8,550. We can go where we can't get it off. We can go like Kakramanov, who's the favorite, slight favorite, coin toss, and then we could go like Sarukian. Right, we can go Kakramanov and Sarukian instead of Al-Bazi and freaking Ismagulov. Instead of going up and down, we can go more mid, more safer, and keep Cannoneer just for the value. He's too much of a good value there. So that's one lineup. That's the idea of one lineup revolved around Ismagulov. Then the next one is getting leverage off of Alex Caceres. It's basically the same. Maybe diversify a little bit. So go Caceres, Al-Bazi, where is he? Cannoneer. I like these guys because of the position where they're at. This Mashati and Renat. I really like their position. I mean, this isn't too bad. This fight, maybe go down to this fight. So okay, so maybe go to Renat, and then maybe these guys will still be unlocked. You know what I mean? Once the Renat fight, hopefully these guys are still unlocked. In case this guy loses, I'm able to which probably I wouldn't pivot away because this is a coin toss here. You have a pretty decent win equity here. What do I do here? I moved it like that. All right, whatever. I'm not gonna mess with that. Screw you guys. Something happened there. Maybe just for the sake of diversifying, we could go. I feel like this is gonna be very similar to the. We go Cape. Yeah. Well, we can keep it simple, right? Just keep it simple. Keep it exactly the same, but instead of taking a shot at Ismagulov, we're taking a shot at Caceres. All right. Same game plan. Exactly same game plan, but different shots. We're taking Ismagulov, Caceres. And then maybe a third shot at Brundage. Because I like his inside the distance at 375. That's pretty good. I still like his win equity. He's only at 30%. But maybe coming at him allows us to get two up here. Maybe he gets his Sarukian. Again, here comes my bias. Here comes my bias. Watch, I'll probably do this just as a personal, as a fan, which I know I should not be doing, but fuck it. It's who I am. So maybe I can get Amir, Cape, and Sarukian, right? That's pretty sick. I like that. And then go Cannoneer, and then go Mahashati. All right, boom. You can have your cake and eat it. So I'll probably throw that as the third lineup. Take a shot at Brundage. So take 3 shots, Brundage. I just don't like the fact that he's later on the fight. Which no, that's not too bad. Six isn't too bad. Um, yeah, that's not too bad. And he's only predicted to be like 13.5% owned. So this is something another third. I'll probably end up making that lineup too, something like this. And because yeah, this is a three max lineup entry. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Again, picking up here, picking down here, and taking a shot at Caceres, Ismagulov, or Brundage. That's the plan. That's the plan going into this. I feel like it's a good plan. Let's see how it plays out. Not much inside the distance. Shit. I don't know why that bothers me. Oh, it's right here, huh? No? Alright. Fuck it. Leave it alone. I'm making it worse. So that's the plan. Let's see how it plays out. Not the best fight card. I'm honestly I'm only gonna be watching it because I'm playing this. That's really the reason why. I don't. If I wasn't playing this, I probably would fight. I mean Armin, because I really like Armin. I'd probably watch that fight. And that Drew Dober and Bobby Green is actually pretty sick. I like that they're fighting. But other than that, it's whatever's. Yeah, we'll end it at that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.